The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Corner Booth podcast pregame. I'm your host, Jared Clem, alongside the little homie Ghost, who decided to stop by, and a great cast of characters. Yes, everyone said knows you said hello. That being said, I am your host, Jared Clem, alongside my amazing co-hosts, who I love and cherish so much because, unlike my other job, they never stress me out. That being said, joining me now, of course, is my main man, my co-host, 10-year friend and college best friend, Mr. Matt Ordazzo, a.k.a. Jake Smigglesworth, a.k.a. fuck New York Yankees, a.k.a. Swaggo.
A.k.a. a very happy 6-1 Yankee fan after the last couple of weeks. Mets got their first win, so, I mean, any Mets fans out there, at least you got something to be okay about this time of the night.
6? Was it what, like 8, 1-8 or whatever? 1-7? Someone that
they're only 1-5 because every single game for them in the last week has been rained out because they had like a 6-game homestand, and they probably only played 3 of those games because of all the rain we had,
which is wild. I mean, hey, listen, Arizona's playing their entire season without a roof this year because of one of the maintenance workers, I guess, broke the ceiling. Also joining us now, a diehard Phillies fan, a diehard Eagles fan, one of the most random but hilarious mother effers I know. This dude hails from the University of Temple, and he is one of the best additions to the corner booth we've had in a while. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, Melvin Dew, a.k.a. Chris Lipoff.
Yo, dude, just ordered a quarter pounder, dude. Oh, fuck, I ordered it to my mom's.
Come on, man, we went 2 minutes like you dropping in a damn F-bomb.
Fuck.
All right,
your mom's gonna be like, thanks for the dinner, Chris.
And he's in the penalty box already. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, the man, the myth, the legend, the host of Theater and College Hoops. He is the reason some of us actually are in the top 10s in our bracket challenges. I lost my national champion last weekend and still am in the top 5 because of this man. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, my man, hashtag Subi knows, Subi.
What's up, boys? Always great to be back. Jared, good to see you. Matt, yes, congratulations on the Yankees' fast start. I'm more happy, though, because the Red Sox aren't complete garbage. I know it's only the A's. Yeah, I know it's only the A's. I might take it. I took a screenshot. Like, we're only a game back of the Yankees. We're not in the cellar just yet. So don't let us nip at your heels for what? Another, 155 games or so.
Something like that.
You know what's funny is that I was talking to somebody. I'm like, I think I'm calling it now. I think the Red Sox are the next Oakland Athletics. What are they doing? They're not signing anybody. They're just getting rid of them. And I'm like, they must be selling. I don't know what they're doing, but they're 5-2 because they have a good manager.
They're garbage. This will not last. No. I have more fun making fun of them, which I've done all offseason, but they continue to win. Hey.
Did you hear what Aaron Boone said to Alex Verdugo? He was
one chain.
Yeah, he was like, "You're wearing too many chains out there, buddy." He's like, 1 chain per game.
I hate the Yankees and their damn rules, man.
They were fun 1 year. That was the year they went. They let
all the mustaches.
Nick Swisher year, where they actually won the championship. Yeah. They were fun. They actually were enjoyable.
It's fun because they have fun out there, and it's like as soon as they start to have fun and it's exciting to watch, it's like they do something to just ruin it, which is like, all right, you can't wear those chains anymore. And I'm like, dude, just let them fucking have a good time. They're only outfield flexing. Just let them.
Wait, can we bring it back? DJ's back this week, boys. We can bring it back.
Yeah. He's got a lot of clowns of the week.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, I've only heard of 2 of them. I don't know who the fuck Kareem Copeland is. Yeah, I cursed you. Hold on. Chris, Ferris.
All right, so I'm taking over.
Yeah, is there a swear jar here now?
First 5 minutes. Just okay, because monetization on this damn app is awful. So we're going to try to drop the F-bombs. We're the only show at Belly Up that has a big ass asterisk right next to it because we curse the most out of anybody. So new rule, lots of curse for the first 5 minutes of the show, and we're going to try to restrict our cursing is a little bit more since we do have a wider viewership. Our views have been up. The views have been up. There's people watching us, important people with so we have to be smart here. Now, I don't know if anything's actually happening or I'm just imagining things, but it seems like our views are up, which means at some point somebody's going to see, maybe not our show, but somebody else's. We have to be an example. So all that aside, we're going to try to curse a little less. Chris, I still want you as weird as freaking possible. maybe just we're going to try to go by the McAfee method and just not drop as many F-bombs.
I
what
might see him tomorrow.
You're gonna see him. Oh yeah, because Mania weekend or whatever.
Yeah, The Rock was in Philly today. He was 90 minutes late to his showing. He said because he was watching Jalen Hurts lose in the playoffs. So I hope that guy gets his behind kicked. We can't curse anymore.
Well, just take away his needles. He won't be able to do anything.
Yeah, he can make another crappy movie.
I got a Bleacher Report notification. It said word for word verbatim, Jalen Hurts catches a stray with The Rock. And I was like, what the fuck? Oh, damn it.
I mean,
damn it.
With the fudge. He said fudge.
It's okay. Y'all trying, which I appreciate y'all trying. I do.
We got to type alternatives for curse words.
If you do the study shows, swearing is at an all-time high on the show, and our views have been going up.
Yeah,
So
there's a correlation.
Maybe we swear every minute.
Don't marry me.
1 hour. First live show.
That's how we get dropped, okay? Like, we actually, did I ever tell you guys, we actually were supposed to get a sponsor with Jack Daniels back during COVID because we have a connection with somebody in the marketing department, but they didn't want to go with our podcast because we weren't family friendly enough.
Well, I'm a Captain Morgan fan anyway, so we don't want
family friendly. You know how many families their product ruined? They don't say we're not family friendly.
I was like, really? I still
listen. How many alcoholics?
I will still drink Jack Daniels. There is no knocking it there, but also at the same time, I'm not going to take it personally. I really don't care. It's one of those things now where I'm like, okay, like if you want my honest to God opinion, my top 5 sponsors that I would love to sponsor the show: Chevy for obvious reasons, either Ariat or Thursday Boot Company, literally the 2 pieces of footwear I wear the most besides Air Jordan and Nike.
Heelys.
Yes, for Chris Heelys.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I don't know, like some kind of maybe Buffalo Trace
Gillette, and do like a close up of like Gillette. And
okay.
I mean, the 4 of us have strong beards.
I know, right? Who the hell? I mean, maybe like a beard trimming company like Braun, maybe, or something like that. But
as he casually sips his beer,
that's the that must be like Falcon.
Oh my God! I think the whole thing. Wow,
it was that kind of day at work. This is a Trogs Double Blizzard. It is a winter IPA.
I was gonna say it must be like Phoenix Breath, not Dragon's Milk this time.
Phoenix,
super good beer. It's 8.3, and I needed that because today
liquid murder.
Liquid death, murder your thirst. I love that thing.
Wow. Yeah, right. But it was brutal, so I'm trying to put a couple of those away and then enjoy the show with my friends before I have to go to work tomorrow. So, that being said, gentlemen, it is Final Four weekend. Subbi, happy your national holiday.
It pretty much is, man. Thursday and Friday are probably my favorite days because I take off work and I just create a crater in my couch, eat, drink, and watch basketball all weekend. I'll tell you what, though, going back to work on that Monday is like the worst day it's terrible. Like I have a terrible time Monday after Super Bowl Sunday. After that first weekend, it is the worst. But the Final Four, very cool. Some intriguing stories. Excited to dive in. By the way, did any of you guys have Alabama or NC State in your Final Four?
No,
I don't think so. No,
I can't imagine.
Unless, and I'm gonna be honest.
Houston.
Bama.
You should have had Houston. All right,
we got laughed at by the entire world.
Jamal
God, you should have seen the comments we were getting.
Shot. Some guy told me I should kill myself because of
by the way, I think that video, Maddie, I think is up to 50,000 views or something like that.
It was at almost 70 last time.
Oh
golly.
Shit! Yeah,
what language?
Wait, what was the video? What was the video?
It was just our brackets, and people were shitting on us.
Oh my God, they were calling us morons and bozos. They told Chris to kill himself. I was like, holy crap!
Let me tell you something, boys. Let me tell you something. Nobody knows diddly squat. Like nobody knows anything when it comes to the.
Can I tell you a story about my work pool, which has like a couple of our contractors in it, a couple other clients. You know who's leading it right now? Our yard guy who watches anime and doesn't know jack shit about college basketball.
Yep.
Dude, that's 3 S-bombs in 2 minutes, Jared.
Fuck.
4.
Our video had
we're past the 5
67.8 thousand views and
That's
892
just insane.
likes.
That's awesome.
This F-bomb was brought to you by Righteous Felon Jerky. Just kidding. No, it's not. We love Righteous Felon. They're not going to sponsor my cursing.
They sponsored my canceledness when I go right to the penalty box.
I didn't even break it out for the first one. It was so early in the show. I'm like, too early for sponsorships.
Yeah, I'll work something in.
Whew, it's been one of those days, man. Anyway, yeah, no, it's crazy. Like, I am full on North Carolina State now. Like, I do not want anybody else winning. Like, at this point, like, dude, like, I love was it DJ Burns? That man is an animal. He is like it's like watching Jordan Mailata move around. He's just big, nasty. He's got the footwork. I'm like, I love this dude. I honestly hope he goes to the NFL. There's like rumors that like scouts are looking at him, which is amazing to me. I saw that rumor. I was like, yes, let's get him on the nose guard. Try throwing a ball in the middle with this guy in your face. Good luck. He's going to swat the ball back in your face.
Dude, NC State is plus 2,000 to win it all.
I think I just put a future on them to win the damn thing. I'm not even sure.
I might. Damn is plus 1,300.
I think my final 4. I had UConn. I don't remember who the other team was. It looks like it was a team with an A, but it wasn't Alabama. It looked like the Houston Oilers Tower, but it was an A.
Arizona.
Yeah, I had Arizona and UConn. UConn won, and then I had Houston and Purdue, and I put Houston won.
Dude,
Subbi's guys were the first Alabama victims, man.
Unbelievable. Well, we lost to Clemson, but
Clemson, sorry.
I mean,
yeah,
no,
it was
it's
the
fine.
most underwhelming final Elite Eight of all time in that bracket. I was like, fuck both these teams.
It should have been you and me going
exactly.
To battle,
they robbed us of it. Caleb Love versus RJ Davis. Well, everyone wanted that freaking Elite Eight.
You know who robbed it? It was those two guys, because Caleb Love and RJ Davis did not play well whatsoever in the Sweet 16. But man, like, I'll tell you what, my Final Four was Houston, Purdue, UConn, and Arizona. Arizona only because I went there. I would tell people never pick Arizona to go to the Final Four. Like, the last time they went to the Final Four, guys, you didn't have to take your shoes off to get on an airplane before. Like, that's the last time.
Arenas was on that roster.
Yeah, he was. It was 2001, man. And so, like, I only picked them because I couldn't live with myself if they actually won it and I didn't pick them. But I would never, like, if you don't have any ties, don't pick Arizona. UConn, I was right. Purdue, I was right. Not going out on a limb. I'm telling you, Matt, we were right on Houston. All right. Jamal Shedd just got hurt. And if he was healthy, they would be in Houston. I'm damn near guaranteeing it. And I like Duke this year, but Houston, they got a very rough injury report there. So I'm all right with it.
My team got bounced early. Drake College went round 1. So my March Madness fanatic, or my March Madness era was over after Drizzy College dropped out.
I remember you asked me about them last time I was on the program. They won their conference tournament, but I picked Wazoo.
Wait,
I was going to go to their championship.
Don't know. Bronny James going to Duquesne, brother, winning next year. It's all over.
He might. God. I don't even know if
they're talking about, because I guess little Drew from LeBron's old high school team is their new head coach, which is crazy to think about.
I know. Makes you feel old, doesn't it?
Subbi, today I had somebody tell me that old Nickelback was classic rock, and my brain started a little bit.
I remember seeing them in concert when I was 13.
Dude, they're doing. I saw Chad Kroeger doing a performance with Hardy. It's blowing up the internet right now because I love Hardy's music. And, if you couldn't tell by the fact I'm a redneck, I curse a lot. Oh, gee, I wouldn't love Hardy's music, right? And they're doing a collaboration for Truck Bed, which is just a great song. And I see Chad Kroeger. I'm like, bro, he is old now. And I'm like, hey, he's still kicking butt though. I love it. But I was like, damn, I'm getting old. And then I realized my 2015 Silverado is going to be 10 years old next year. I'm like, that's just fucking bullshit.
Mine's already 10 years old, my car.
They still riding all right, though? You got to drive those things.
My check engine blinking on the highway this morning. Pulled off, shut it off, turned it back on. It's gone. I'm like, damn it. I was almost kind of hoping it was still there, because I was like, all right, at least I don't have a problem now.
I had to get my strut, a dry shaft, a strut, an alignment, and then a battery.
I got to do my transmission fluid and my filter. And then my front suspension, I need I need to replace because it's starting to get a little loose.
I got to do an emissions test.
Also, I drive that thing like I drive that truck like a damn animal. So I mean, not as bad as I used to, but I still drive that thing aggressively. So.
Speaking of like concerts, you're talking about Nickelback. My first concert was the Wiggles.
Attaboy.
Dude, I loved it.
Age 24, going to the Wiggles.
Fruit salad, yummy, baby. Oh, I die.
I'm not a big concert guy. Truth be told, I'm not a huge music guy.
You gotta catch the Wiggles, Subbi. They're good.
Maybe. Okay, maybe I'll do that. Oh, look, I got a kid on the way, so maybe we'll take my kid.
Papa Subs.
Yeah, but my first time I started dating my first time, the only time, but like when we first started dating, me and my wife, she took me to a Pitbull concert, and I do love Pitbull.
Dolly,
here we go.
Dude. Like I'm telling you,
never heard anything but good things about a Pitbull concert. Like
the performance was amazing. Dude was like, he did an outstanding, amazing, like jaw-dropping workout in a 3-piece suit. It was like unbelievable.
You're the fourth person to tell me that. Like the owner of my company went with his girlfriend was like 10, 15 years younger than him, right? So like she's like in her mid 30s and he's like in his 50s. I'm like, yeah, good for you, man. Also, my best friend's dead, but it's a whole nother. So anyway, and I'm just like, he's telling me, he's like, dude, the Pitbull concert was awesome, man. I'm like, you know what? They're like the fourth person to tell me that. Everyone says the energy is insane. Best concert I went and saw was Whiskey Myers. I wasn't even a fan, but tie. Whiskey Myers and Dropkick Murphys. Whiskey Myers was crazy because they played for almost 2 hours straight. When most guys have like a 60-minute set list at most. These guys were jamming for 2 hours. Crazy, right? And then Murphy's was nuts because Murphy's was like basically a riot. You had dudes decking each other. I had some dude from South. He chucked some like Connecticut preppy kid across a crowd into a group of people because they got in a fist fight. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. I decked some dude in a mosh pit. Like I went full Brian Hopkins, left my feet, hit some dude because he like shoved this girl out of them. I'm like, what is your problem, man? I was like, all right, superhero time. Fucking lift my feet, shoulder to his rib cage, knocked him flat. He was like some 45-year-old guy with like a beer gun. I just decked him.
No, Dropkick brings out that crowd. I will also say I've been to Stagecoach, and everyone kept saying like, just you got to see Garth Brooks live. You got to see him live. And I'm like, yeah, I'm excited for it. Dude, it exceeded my expectations. So I'm here to now say,
his music's good though.
Go watch Garth Brooks live. It is.
I will never pay that man any money.
It's sick.
Subbi, I hate the man as a human, so it's like for me, I wouldn't give him $1 of money.
Okay, fair enough. For everyone who doesn't hate Garth Brooks, though, go check him out.
Like
last year,
it was a shit out of me.
Last year for my bachelor, we went to New Orleans. We went to Essence Festival, and the only reason why I wanted to go is because I have a strange obsession with Ice Cube. Like for some reason, I think Ice Cube's a fucking solid '90s rapper. I love Ice Cube, so I went down there and I saw Ice Cube came out, and I was the only one that found this hysterical. But guess who followed up Ice Cube?
Dr. Dre.
Ice-T.
No way.
That was great. Ice Cube and Ice-T on the stage with each other. Oh my god, right? So it was Ice Cube, Ice-T. All of a sudden, Jermaine Dupri came on. Jermaine Dupri brought out T.I., who brought out Gucci Mane, who brought out Lil Jon, who brought out Ludacris. It was a wild fucking. And then Missy Elliott closed it out.
My childhood of listening to rap music just came out in a line. Just like
I would just be so pumped, like artist after artist after artist. By the way, New Orleans.
I grew up loving T.I., so like that would make me
bring him out. Anyway.
He had so many good tracks.
Poppin' is what got me started with his music, man.
But Matt, you should know New Orleans top 3 city in America.
Oh yes, sir.
I love it.
Did you go to Boot Student Rodeo?
You really need to be strapped.
No, so we went to we mostly did the French Quarter and obviously bourbon and stuff, but I like the voodoo stuff, so I went to the Museum of House of Death and all that stuff. The party I went to wasn't big fans of that stuff, so we didn't do too much, but we did go. We went off the grid and we were on the grid. We stayed in a not safe area, but we had a great time.
Yeah,
that's best, dude.
It is. I'll take this. I'll take bourbon over the Strip. That might be controversial to some people.
Bourbon is so much better than the Strip.
I love
bourbon,
New Orleans.
I went to Bourbon on St. Patrick's Day. You want to talk about crazy?
Oh, I'm sure it's insane.
3 blocks shut down. It was just wall to wall party, every bar, walk in. We walk out with a Chinese food container of beer, like one of those big pints. I walk out with a beer of milk, like a milk. I walk out the girl I was seeing at the time. She was 20. We walk in. They wouldn't even check her ID, man. She walked up, asked for a hurricane. We walk out, me and her, and we'd be drinking. I think I sent Matt a snap a couple times while I was on Bourbon Street. I was wild. I think I had a girl, and this is why I knew I love New Orleans, was when I'm walking out and one of the shot girls bumps into me and covers me in shots, right? Doesn't even offer to give me one. Just tries to charge me, right? Wake up the next morning. I text the girl I was seeing. I'm like, I had one pair of jeans for the things. I had to pack light, so I didn't want to check my bags. And so I'm like, yo, my jeans don't smell like alcohol. She goes, what do you mean? I'm like, come through. So she walks in and she smells the freaking. She's like, dude, it's water. Like, yeah, I guarantee those shots were solid water and food coloring.
Probably.
I was like, you know what? We ain't going to that bar tonight. Oh, but we walked into a random club that had a jazz band. It was crazy, and it was the most lit I've been all night. Yes, Chris.
Do I have permission to pick up my quarter pounder?
Yes, go grab your quarter. Jesus Christ, go grab your quarter.
I thought it went to your mom's.
It did. My mom's like around the corner.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we'll get your quarter pounder. That's not a penalty box, by the way. Chris, he's still in good standing.
My only mess up from that trip was that I booked it in July.
Oh,
didn't think to, down south heat in July was insane. I knew I messed up when I got off the plane and we got outside the airport, and there were people with they had little white beaters on, but they had them rolled up over their stomach.
Yeah,
because it was that hot. It was like 100 degrees and like 90% humidity. Oh man, I had a great time, but I was suffering.
It'd be like that, man. And obviously the swamp tours are super fun. I was there for a wedding a couple years back, and it was like during some sports weekend, and we posted up at the Manning's bar, right? The Manning's, obviously from New Orleans. They have this awesome bar with like stadium seating and food and just TVs everywhere. I looked to my right. I saw Eli Manning and what's the dad's name? Archie. I was like, are you kidding me right now? This is unreal. Yeah, it's royalty. So I love New Orleans so much.
Remember that time, Jared, when we all went to I don't know why I almost said Madison Square Garden. We went to Martha's Vineyard, and you were like, holy crap, we got to go to this donut shop. Rob Lowe's handing out free donuts to everybody. And then we went there, and you were like, I should have refreshed it. That was 2 weeks ago. I went all the way there. It was a 2-week-old yik yak.
Was a thing, man. And like, that was weird. That was like the one summer I went out there where like the vineyard wasn't that crazy. Because like when I usually go out there, it's like usually like a zoo. Oh no, there was that. I think it was 2021 when we went out. It was still COVID because of Obama's birthday party. Basically shut the island down. Like spread like 500 cases in 2 days. It was insane. You talking to some of the contractors in the center of the town at like the delis, and they'd be like, "Dude, we went from like going to parties and going to bars to back to like 2020 like summer in like 2 days." It was insane. So I felt bad for them, but besides that, like the vineyard's usually lit. Last year was a little slower because of how cold it got, or how early it got, how cold. But like the year I went out with Matt and Pat, it made no sense. It was the end of August, and we were walking around looking for bars we could like sneak into, because like usually if like a bar is like packed enough where like the bouncer's not even paying attention, you can kind of work your way in, and everything was quiet. It was like really dead. So yeah, it's all good. Also joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, the stunt double for Hunter Renfrow in the upcoming Josh McDaniels Greek tragedy biopic. He is one of the smartest human beings when it comes to football I've ever met in my life. He is a upstanding Colts fan who's boycotting the season after the Stephon Diggs trade, and a staunch defender of whatever the hell they call that receiving core in Indianapolis. Ladies and gentlemen, no, I'm just kidding. He's complaining about it. Ladies and gentlemen, DJ Stewart, High-Low Sports.
And you are like 1 out of 6 there, so we're working on it. We'll get it back. Like
not all of them are gems, man. Come on.
Gems, acceptable, tolerable. Well, it's fine. We'll let this one slide.
Fair enough, buddy. How you been? Welcome back.
Glad to be back. Glad to be amongst the lads.
Chris is going to get a quarter pounder right now, so we'll be back in about 2 minutes.
They had it delivered to the wrong house.
We're talking about food though, right? Like
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yes.
Chris, I'm never too sure.
Yeah, this is the same man who broke into a water park to pose with Nickelodeon characters. Okay, well, it's he's a different breed of human. So
According to him, he said it was open and nobody stopped me. So I was like, okay.
it's
He's
not
like,
B&E if the
the
door's
gate
open.
was
kid.
open and nobody said I couldn't do it.
Well, children, the what lesson of that story, according to Chris, is if it's B&E but the door's open, don't count.
I'm not going to follow Chris's advice on that one, with all due respect.
Listen, at this point, I'm just gonna let it roll because his brand of weird works for us. Shout out to our boy Nate. Yeah, no, it ain't bad. I'm just busting chops. I do like the fact they brought back Michael Pittman Jr. on an actual deal because he's a good receiver. I wish they went out and got somebody a little more explosive to go with him and Pierce because I think Pierce is kind of, I don't know. Pierce,
He's white.
Pierce
That's all there is to it. He's white and he runs straight. That's his entire
yeah,
game.
he's Kevin Curtis with less of a 40 time and more of a vertical. It makes no sense to me.
He's
But-
built for New England.
Yeah, he's built for the XFL. Okay,
He's built for
Speaking of
Patrick
which,
Mahomes.
Deej, I did enjoy your preview of the UFL with our boy Zach Keelman. My biggest problem was I understood about three out of every 10 players he talked about. I knew all the ex-NFL guys. That was about it.
You know, you'll get used to it as well. I got my parents into it. They watched the weekend and now they got favorite teams. Like,
My grandmother is watching that shit every weekend, man. She was hyped.
I'm just pissed that Matt Corral went to the team that was already 21-3 the last year. It's like, do you really need the NFL quarterback of 48 minutes ago to a team that's won back-to-back USFL titles? Like,
Literally, me in our group chat, just Matt Corral here chucking lasers when I turn the TV on. I'm like, what the hell?
send him to one of the crappier teams. Don't put him right on the dynasty out of the gate.
I know. That was a fun game, though, between the two of those teams, man. And then again, I think, like, Bob Stoops' boys are like, they won off of, like, flukes and weird things happening in the playoffs last year, and the Birmingham Stallions just kicked everyone's ass up and down the field. So it's two very different champions right now, but
very different levels.
I'm excited for this weekend. I'm going to try to watch a little more ball because obviously Easter weekend's a zoo and it's just nuts. But Deej, we're about to start talking a little Final Four and some other bullshit takes. We've been basically bullshitting the entire show because this is that weird in between where, like, it's not NFL draft time yet. It's not NFL free agency really anymore. Basketball hasn't really heated up. NBA hasn't heated up yet. Hockey hasn't. It's like, this is the weird in between. We have the Final Four, but then everything around it's kind of hazy. So, Subbi, I guess we'll let you take center stage here now, as we're gonna kind of let Chris just kind of hide himself in a corner, eating his quarter pounder with cheese, cheeseburger Eddie style. But Subs, it is time for #Subbi Knows. Presented by.
I know that always gets me, man. I don't know. I'm telling you, I don't know squat. But sorry, go ahead. Finish your promo.
It's college basketball for dummies. March Madness 2024, Part 3, presented by SeatGeek. #Subbi Knows. Belly Sports is the promo code for $20 off your initial purchase. Subs, school us here, my friend. What do you think is going to happen? Your initial thoughts on the Final Four? We were kind of talked about the surprises of Alabama and North Carolina State. I guess War Eagle at this point because fuck Bama for knocking my Tar Heels out. Initial thoughts: Purdue and UConn. We know what we're getting with them. Also, Zach Edey apparently had a boner when he won the Final Four. So that's something. But
young man's excited.
Good on him. He's human. That's the best news I've heard about him his entire career.
There you go. All right. So, Subs, initial thoughts when you're looking at this Final Four?
Man, so jump in whenever because I could talk for days here. But let's start with Bama. All right. Tough life for those Bama fans down in Tuscaloosa, huh? You go to a playoff in which it was like your birthright in the college football playoff. Nick Saban retires, and you're like, dang, this could be tough. And then you turn around and you get a basketball program that just goes to a Final Four. And you got an awesome coach in Nate Oates. Like, for real, guys, I'm joking, but Nate Oates is an awesome coach, and he's kind of stamped now, fellas. Like, he's done this with Buffalo. He's been a #1 overall seed with Bama last year. He's got dudes going to the NBA. They put together regular season wins, and now he has a Final Four. So, Bama fans, tough life, I suppose, for the boys and girls in Tuscaloosa. NC State, how the hell did we get here? I have genuinely no clue. And everyone wants to love on DJ Burns, who's been phenomenal. He's been absolutely outstanding, and he's good. He's so light on his feet. He can get to his spots. He has a mid-range game. You were talking a little bit about it. But let me tell you something, guys. Kevin Keats was on the hot seat. And the only reason NC State is here is because they had to win their conference tournament in the ACC, which they did. But it only came after Virginia, who was up 3, didn't foul them, and NC State hit like a 40-foot buzzer-beating shot.
LMAO, Virginia.
To force overtime. Like, NC State has absolutely no business being in the tournament, nor do they have any business being in the Final Four, but alas, like, this is why this sport is so ridiculous and unpredictable, and nobody knows anything. Like, there's not a chance in hell folks took NC State to the Final Four unless you're a Wolfpack fan. So those two teams are crazy. And then you got the redemption story with Purdue and Zach Edey. And one thing that I want folks to think about, obviously the on-court stuff's important, but just think about the baggage Zach Edey and DJ Burns, who are going to be playing against each other. Think about the baggage that they're bringing. DJ Burns is having the time of his life. He's having a blast. This is nothing to him. He's not supposed to be here. He's milking everything that he can. Zach Edey, I don't even know if Zach Edey's having fun. Like, Zach Edey is on this warpath. He's on a mission, and he's out to prove people wrong, and he's out to conduct business. Like, I'm looking at these two guys, and I
played 40 last week, right?
Yeah. And afterwards he's like, people overlooked me, and which might be true. And I got no issues with it. I'm just saying, like, look at the baggage these two big men are carrying with them. Like, Zach Edey is trying to, like, carry the weight of the world on his shoulders. Meanwhile, DJ Burns is just chilling, having fun, and dropping 20 points on Duke. Who's just a serious business.
He's just Jordan Davis with a jump shot.
I mean, everyone's been asking him about the NFL and Kevin Keats was like, he's too nice to be an NFL player. But DJ Burns is good. Like, and Zach Edey said it. He was basically saying, look, DJ Burns is kind of being treated like a sideshow, but he's actually nasty, and they're going to give him respect, and they should. And then UConn, man, like, they're just a buzzsaw. They're a real company. Like, they're serious business. They're a Fortune 500 company, dude. Like, if you meet expectations for Danny Hurley, that's a bad day. You have to exceed expectations every single day, and they're doing it. Who the hell goes on a 30-0 run in the Elite Eight against Illinois? Teams don't even do that in November when they're playing like Grambling or East-West Northwestern State. Like, that doesn't happen.
Or FCS South. I don't know. Insert your college football NCAA teams back. You know what's so funny about UConn? And I kind of want to cut in here is UConn really. I said this to you, Subs, back when you came on. I believe right before the tournament. I said there was one team that could knock them off, and that one team lost to. On a possession, was it a foul at the end of the game to Alabama? The one team I thought could even have a shot knocking them out with North Carolina. Once they got there, I'm like, yeah, this is UConn's tournament. They're just gonna steamroll everybody. It's not even fair. They literally looked like, to me. I don't know if y'all remember that Florida team about a decade and a half ago with Corey Brewer, Joakim Noah, where they were just gonna stomp and roll everybody.
Almost 2 decades ago now. You want to feel old as shit.
Yeah.
What?
It's almost 2 decades now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was the George Mason year. Oh,
that's the last team to go back to back.
Oh,
like, guys, UConn, this tournament and last tournament, the lowest margin of victory that they've had is 13. 13 points. Like, how do you fathom that? It's insane. But they're rolling right now. And I actually think, let me tell you this though. I'm rooting for NC State, and I just went out on a limb and I said they're going to beat Purdue. Why the hell not? Like, I keep waiting for their gas to run out. I haven't seen it yet though. So
you keep letting them refuel. That's the problem.
When I look at this one too, I'm looking at Alabama, and the only thing that ever comes to my mind is that gift. They can't keep getting away with it. You can't get this far when you give up on 100 points a game, not literally, but figuratively. But they still find a way to make it work. Do you think against UConn, like you mentioned, the Fortune 500, the apple of college basketball right now, is there any way Alabama could play enough defense to make it we'll just say cover the spread. I'm not even talking about winning right now. But can Alabama do enough of their our best defense is we shoot buckets? Is there a chance they can keep it going, or is this probably the end?
So I think they can cover the spread, which I think is what, 12.5. They're
ridiculous. Yeah, like 10.
yeah, so ridiculous for a Final Four game against a power team from the SEC, right? I do think they can cover that, but I don't expect them to win. I think they have to make upwards of like 16 threes, which is very difficult against UConn, who's a great defense. And you're right about Bama. They can't keep getting away with this. DJ, let me tell you something, man. I had them losing first round. I thought they were going to be done halfway at halftime against Charleston because nothing showed me entering the tournament. Their defense, their momentum, like all these metrics, nothing showed me that they could win a game, let alone 4. And that's why, again, I don't know. Like, I know the hashtag says Subbi knows. I don't. Like, I really don't. It's insane. But they're going to have to.
Know.
I am like I'm 50% basically, but Mark Sears is going to have to play out of his mind, which he's capable of doing. Grant Nelson's going to have to be a heavy contributor. One key that I think, and I don't know anything, Nate Oates is a genius, but I would expect Bama to double the post very early. Donovan Clingan was just dunking and getting 0-foot layups and looks at the rim against Illinois. And so I think you got to challenge UConn down low, double the post, kick it out, make them kick it out. And they actually UConn hasn't been amazing from the 3-point line. If you want to look at a flaw, and I'm doing that in quotes because they're still pretty good at it. Area of concern, I guess, for UConn would be 3-point shooting. If I'm Bama, double the post, make life hard on Clingan, have them kick it out. And from there, I guess you just take it possession by possession. I think Bama covers, but I just don't see any way that they win this game.
That kind of was going to be my next question too, is I don't know. I know Grant Nelson is still almost 7 feet tall, like 6'10", 6'11", something like that, but it still feels like they do not have the size to deal with UConn down low, as you mentioned. So it sounds like you're saying they're probably going to have to double team. So if they play with single, if they basically play one-on-one down low, it feels like they're going to get cooked. I know they technically have the size, but it's deceiving. When you watch them, they have the size on paper, but on the court, they can't match up down low, and they really couldn't with any of those other teams. It felt like it just didn't matter.
Yeah, and Donovan Clingan's a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. Like, those other guys are not. So you may have the size, but can you actually stop Donovan Clingan? I don't know. And then UConn has another 6'10" dude in Samson Johnson who's crazy energy. So you couple that with doing it on both ends of the floor, like make Clingan's life hard. Illinois didn't do that. And I guess you just got to say, hey, if Cam Spencer beats us, if Stephon Castle beats us, if any of these guards beat us, tip your cap, I suppose. Like Bama's going to have to play a perfect basketball game.
Which, just to spite me, they will find a way to do it too. As soon as I bet against every time I bet against them, they find a way. I've hit the over every single time though, so good on Alabama for that. Keep that going, please.
Yeah, never bet $1 on them before the curve.
No, we're betting the over. We're putting the house on the over.
Yeah, there's going to be.
No, I'm saying bet Bama money line to fuck them. That's what it is.
That doesn't work that way for me, Jared. I get reverse psychology.
I can't even bet on them anyway because they're playing UConn. We can't bet on them in Connecticut because
No, that's true.
Don't worry, I'll do it for you. I will keep 100% of the winnings, but I will bet with your money.
Yeah, thanks, Deej. Appreciate it.
Got your back.
All right, Deej. So Mr. McCarthy a couple hours ago brought up, and since you're the commissioner of that very segment, are you willing to adhere to who the new guys? Who's the current reigning champ for Clown of the Week? I can't even remember at this point. Is it Jim Irsay?
No, he got upset at one point too. I at this point it's like Clown of the Year, but
it's not AB. We haven't done it in like a month. I have to go back. Nobody even knows who like the Clown of the Week is.
I'll say
I think it was John Morant, then I think it was AB, and then I think it was Mario Cristobal, but then it was Jim Irsay definitely after that. I don't know who could have topped it.
What did they say about the women's regional?
Well, Albany's.
Basically, they were saying like we couldn't pick a better place to have these games. More or less, as like they more or less called them poop holes, for lack of better words. But
well, Rebecca Lobo, like every time she opens her mouth, my brain kind of inverts itself a little bit. So,
But then again, if
You
we're
know, Doug
able
Gottlieb was not. This isn't like a man versus woman thing. Like Doug Gottlieb makes my brain invert too. So it's like they picked
Gottlieb would
the
be an
all-star
idiot.
squad.
he's absolutely terrible, and just on their resumes alone, you could get them up there. But I think for this particular one, I don't think they're going to upset Jim Irsay and his whale saving self.
No, they wouldn't upset Jim Irsay. They won't upset John Morant. McCarthy, it's a nice time here, but like I don't think
They
anybody's.
do got clown of the week resumes, and they could be clowns of the any time. But I don't know if we could quite put them there, just because. At one point, they're not entirely wrong when you look at it. Like out of all the cities you could add it, that you have, and you look where the Final Four is. They have it in Cleveland now. It's like Albany, I guess. Like not trying
They
to
had this
on there, but
in Bridgeport once. I was working it. It was crazy.
exactly. So it's not like they are clowns of the week, but not these clowns of the week. They're just clowns.
No, they get nominated. So McCarthy, good job. Thank you for not bringing Clown of the Week back. And you know, just for you, buddy, we'll bring up Mr. Harper just to make you happy. If I can find the clip. Going back. Hey, where are you, Bryce? Did they delete my clip? No, here he is.
Something else. Bryce, that's a clown question, bro.
Exactly. I listen, as much as I would love to slap a big old Clown of the Week on somebody else, is not Jim Irsay, Mario Cristobal, or John Moran or Antonio Brown. Those four are the king. The king.
Yeah, earn that two-color crown.
I still think Mario Cristobal, like that is still one of the most dumbfounding plays I've ever seen in my entire life. Time and score and all of that. That was truly like I would bring it up randomly in conversation today. I might do that with my wife when she gets home for dinner. Like it's still so. I'm sorry, man. It's absolutely insane and absurd. But sorry, that's college football.
Jared, that sandwich was amazing.
I'm happy for you, buddy.
Dude, that was like a top 5 McDonald's moment. Eating on camera, all eyes on you, it felt like an awkward.
Well, buddy, you were in the bottom right of the screen, so basically, besides Nate, I don't think I actually noticed you were like eating.
Oh,
sorry to burst your bubble.
It was good though.
Well, by the way, boys, I've gone to the dark side. I am now officially one of those guys who wears Hey Dudes. I love these things so much. They're so fucking comfy.
Fucking God.
I got the sport mesh ones for like really cheap, and I wear them to like work and shit, or wear them to the gym. I highly recommend a pair of these because they're so freaking cheap. And right now, because I don't feel like putting on a pair of actual sneakers, like these actually slap. I'm not gonna lie. So
life's about comfort,
bro. Seriously, like I wear cowboy boots because they're comfortable.
Dude, I'm done trying to impress people. Life's about comfort.
So I'm wearing a Carhartt, one of my 4 Carhartt t-shirts I rotate, basketball shorts, and Hey Dudes.
There you go.
God. Might as well go order your next pair of your Nike Monarchs while you're at it.
Jared, do you have Heelys?
What are you talking about? I ain't dad shoe. Get out of here.
No, they had Hey Dudes with Heelys.
Yeah.
No, that's a Chris Lipoff special.
That's a Chris ass move. Casually drinking the high C, wearing Heelys.
What is that? A high 12? Jesus Christ! Look at the size of that thing.
That's big gulp.
Shoo, big diabetes.
Yeah, it's on the way.
Got to quench that thirst. Hey, Jared, let me ask you, man. Are like we talked about UConn, but you're from Connecticut. Like, is everyone just? They're spoiled as hell, man. They are unbelievable.
You know what? This is I don't know, Maddie. You don't really count as a UConn fan, do you? Are you UConn?
Nah, I just root for him because I live here.
We don't count our like. He doesn't count as a UConn fan. Like I've been a North Carolina fan my entire life watching college basketball, and so
I've been a UConn fan for about 3 weeks. I feel great.
Yeah. You should say you've been a like that's the craziest thing about this run, man. They're about to get 6 in like 25 years. So Chris, you could be like, I've been a UConn fan for 10 years, and then you could claim 3. 10 years isn't a long time. I've been a UConn fan for like 15 years. You get 4 or 5.
North Carolina fan for 15 years. I've got 3 titles.
I'm a UConn, Lakers, Red Sox. What's the other crazy one?
It's Yankees and Cowboys. You kind of
no. Usually the prototypical fan type is Duke, Yankees, Lakers, Cowboys.
Nah, Duke's out. UConn's in.
Oh, I guess UConn now. So it's basically any Connecticut person. It's so funny. Every Duke fan I've ever met is a Yankees fan. I cannot figure it out.
My favorite dog. So
it's because let me tell you why that is, man. Because like 3/4 of Duke's
corporate-looking white boys.
Well, yeah, but they're also people from New York. Like I don't think many of those folks are actually from Durham, North Carolina. or
have you
from
been to
North
Durham,
Carolina.
North Carolina? There's not much there, bro.
Durham's not that great. I understand that, but Duke's
I'm
a
more
great
of a
school.
Raleigh or Chapel Hill kind of guy.
Yeah, but it's because people come from New York down to Duke, and then obviously they grew up with the Yankees. But no, I mean, like Duke got fortunate against Houston, but I actually thought they had a pretty nice season. It is kind of crazy though, Jared, that amongst Kevin Keats, Hubert Davis, and John Shire is the one that does not have a Final Four. It is insane to me that Kevin Keats is here. I'm telling you, boys, I don't know if you have your ear to the ground. He was on the hot seat. Like they were NC State, I'm pretty sure was saying, okay, the second they lose in the ACC tournament, he's gone. He's the only guy that I've seen visibly like get put on a performance plan. Like at your work, when someone gets put on a performance plan, it's TikTok. Like nothing that person can do will. Did you save your job? That's pretty impressive.
We'll find out.
Kevin Keats not only saved his job, he got some bonuses and incentives kicked in for winning the ACC tournament.
A basketball team. I'm doing the wrong job.
And yeah, and what you got to do is get hot for about a month. It's got to be the right month. It can't be like November or December. You got to get hot in March. That's exactly what Kevin Keats has done.
March is the reason I'm on a performance plan.
Yeah.
Oh man. Enough joking about how shitty my personal life is. Anyway, yeah, no, it's really weird, right? With this tournament, it was so predictable up until about last weekend. Like North Carolina steamrolled Michigan State. Everyone's like, all right, same old UNC. And then we're like, what? Wait, Alabama? What?
Those boys shoot the ball, man. They're like offense.
You know what the worst part is? That game went back and forth like 7 different times, and I was so tired. I fell asleep, and I woke up, and I was like, I got in my truck because I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go work out like 4 days a week, and I literally got in my truck at like 4:15 in the morning. I was like, fuck! I was screaming in my freaking truck. I was like, damn it! At least my Diamondbacks dropped 16 runs that night. It was like 16-0 over the Rockies, wherever the hell it was. But thank God it's baseball season because my team just slugs people in the jaw, and it makes life a little less depressing. But if for the love of God, if MLB.TV could go on sale so I could actually afford it, because $130 for one team is just insane.
Yeah, I've turned the page ever since Arizona lost to Clemson, which was just another choke job. But I've turned the page to the Red Sox and also the Celtics. Like I'm pumped about the Celtics, but I'm sure they'll choke and break my heart.
Wolves, baby.
Hey, if you want to meet up in the NBA Finals, let's do it. You gotta come. You gotta come through Boston.
My counter guy, he's a diehard Celtics fan. He's also Irish as shit. His name is. Oh God, I can't.
How about this, Jared? If it's Wolves Celtics, winner of that series in the NBA Finals gets to officially claim Kevin Garnett.
Oh. You guys don't get to claim him at all.
He got him a championship. Got him a championship. Thank you, Chris.
Congratulations. LaShawn McCoy won a title with the damn Chiefs. Nobody gives a shit.
I care.
I mean, did LaShawn McCoy play as pivotal of a role as Kevin Garnett did in Boston? Look, let's settle it. Let's settle it in the finals.
Don't worry, Subi. I'll see you in the second round.
Yeah, here's the crazy thing about it.
I'm kind of
Chris. I don't even know if y'all making the playoffs. Like,
bro, we're going to the play-in. It's the most entertaining round in sports.
Wait, last time I checked, I think we got the number 1 seed. I can't remember. Apparently, we're getting Cat back next week, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? When did a meniscus tear be a 1-month injury? I'm really freaking out right now.
I am a little nervous about the Sixers, like Embiid coming back, fine. But just from a percentage standpoint, and I'm not even trying to troll here, Chris, like the Celtics beat the Sixers every single year in the playoffs.
I know. I actually started to root for the Celtics at one point because I was so pissed at the Sixers. I was like, they were up 50. I said, Celtics Nation, let's ride. Game 7.
But it's like at some – I was just going to say, Chris, real quick, at some point, like you have to beat the Celtics, right? And I'm terrified. Like at some point that has to happen.
So it was going to happen last year, but then, we had James Harden and Joel Embiid. And, James Harden was James Harden, and Embiid was Embiid in the playoffs. Can't perform in the big moment, and we're back home. So,
you know what's wild to me right now?
what's wild, Jared?
Your mom. No, I'm just kidding.
Fair
That's
enough.
fucked, bro. I'm leaving the stream.
Fair enough.
There it is. Fair enough. Brought to you
Oh
by.
my god! All right.
Yeah.
So right now there's 3 teams in the West that have already clinched a playoff berth. You have obviously my Wolves. So this is the first time we've clinched a playoff berth since I was 9 years old. This early in the season, 2003, 2004, where our roster consisted of the boy KG, PJ Carlissimo choking out, Latrell Sprewell, Sammy, I blow my knees out in the clutch, Cassell, and Wally, I get punched by Kevin Garnett Zerbiak.
Celtics legend Kevin Garnett.
Celtics legend Wally
Celtics
Zerbiak and
legend,
Celtics
Kevin
legend
Garnett.
Sam Cassell.
Celtics legend.
Stop it. Listen,
KG,
I
Sam Cassell,
respect
Zerbiak.
his time in Minnesota. In Boston, I do. I had a KG Celtics jersey because Kevin Garnett was one of 3 athletes that shaped my childhood. KG, Dawkins, and Randy Johnson. Here's the kicker, though. He will always be a Timberwolf, most of all. It's not our fault that Glenn Taylor is a scumbag who just snaked A-Rod out of that ownership. So now KG ain't coming back. His only contact was through Anthony Edwards because Cat pissed him off because Cat's a little bitch. But he's trying to man up and actually act like a goddamn man finally coming back from a meniscus injury. I'm on my shit now because we're finally getting some semblance of like decency. This is our 3rd straight playoff berth, and I don't know how to deal with it because I went from not making the playoffs in the NBA from the age of 10 to the age of 21. No, 22. 23, actually. So 13 straight years not making the playoffs to now we've made it 3 years in a row. I don't know how to deal with it.
We're the goats in the second round, my team. We're the goats.
That's true.
Damn right.
Like
All right,
we
I know you got to dip quick.
You're good, man.
No, listen, brother. I gotta respect the boys' schedules. So, final predictions. NBA. We'll go quickly. Final prediction. Final 4 for the games. Who's winning on Saturday, and then who's winning on Monday, and then we'll cement this bet for Celtics Timberwolves.
All right. So I got UConn over Bama. I do think Bama's going to cover, but I got UConn. And then I'm going to go crazy here, folks. Like, don't tell me on this. Don't try and I'm just having fun and going buck wild into the Final 4.
I'm doing it right now.
I'm going NC State over Purdue, damn it.
Yes, sir!
Let's go.
Let's keep this good time rolling.
NC
State for Purdue.
I'm locked in already, bro. I didn't even need to hear Subi.
And then UConn absolutely destroys NC State on Monday. And here's who I'm going to say is going to win Final 4 MOP. I'm going to go out on a little bit of a limb here, and I'm going to say Tristan Newton. Tristan Newton wins Final 4 MOP.
He's been cooking.
Not going with the favorite. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it never is the favorite, is it? It's
never
always,
like exactly. Like Louisville had Luke Hancock.
Our last title was Joel Berry, who won the fucking setting player, but our best player was Justin Jackson.
Yeah,
it's weird. I never understood it, but you know what? Somebody's college basketball great. All right, Subs, and we'll see each other obviously, hopefully in the NBA Finals from Minnesota versus Boston. This finals that nobody wants.
I want.
And listen, Tatum versus Edwards is gonna be freaking electric. So,
dude, Kevin Garnett won the finals with Doc Rivers, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, and Paul Pierce shitting his pants halfway through the second half.
And now, I mean Paul Pierce is getting tough to defend these days. I'll tell you what.
Ray Allen's team.
I'm a Rondo guy.
I'm a Rondo guy too.
Rondo actually, I love Rondo because you know why? Rondo was a dude, man. He was a fighter.
I will say Rondo when he announced his retirement, I was like, you weren't already retired?
Shout Eddie House with the headband and high socks, bro.
Eddie House is a great dude too. Love him.
He's a bucket from 3. Subs, man, thank you so much. Check Subi out on Theater and College Hoops. Subs, when's the next episode dropping?
So we just dropped our latest one. Probably going to have a recap after the title game and then maybe unplug a bit and then continue with the off-season interviews. But fellas, always great jumping on. Thank you, Jared. Enjoy the rest of the day and enjoy the Final 4.
Thank you, sir. And you can catch Subi as a regular on this show throughout his entire offseason. and talking as a New England sports fan that he is.
Yeah, let's do draft. Let's do NFL
Oh,
draft,
I know you're
man.
coming by for our draft show like you did last year, buddy. You killed it last year.
I can't wait, man. See you, fellas.
All right, buddy. Peace. Yeah, so we were the pregame show for Dan's draft last year, and Subbi was the only guest me and Matt had. It was just me, Matt, and Subs. And Subs fucking killed it. We were like, oh my God. Like we don't want to stop, but Dan's like messaging me like, hey, you guys getting off 5 minutes, right? We're like, yes, we know the drill. But whoever is hosting this year's, we will make sure we're off at a plenty amount of time because I believe I might be.
I'll host.
No, stop.
Right here, right here from my house.
Chris, I have to be able to trust you to run a show before I can.
MTV Live.
And this is on me because I still haven't gotten you the link to like our merchandise yet. So that's on me. I also the last 3 weeks of my life have been absolutely a fucking shit show, and you turn 29 and the light in your world turns upside down. So
don't even get me
wild
started.
shit. That being all that aside, man. Subs killed it, so that was always fun. At this point, I'm kind of just like happy it's almost the weekend, man. I need
almost Friday.
Dude, last week was brutal. I had a crazy Saturday where I ended up like somehow like I had to go I had to do a bunch of meal preps last week, and I had Easter Sunday with the family. And my most relaxing moment was sitting in church and just nobody talking to me and just listening to the freaking music. I was like, this is like actually very peaceful right now. I'm enjoying this.
I'm surprised you didn't burst in the flames.
No, I actually am a very religious. I actually do pray a lot, and I actually do read scripture. So that as much as I am a wild human being, I tend to lean more towards the Catholic faith as much as possible. Now, I mean on Good Friday. I'm not a perfect Catholic by any stretch, but I tend to lean towards it. There's a reason I have a 9x5 cross on my shoulder. It's how I was raised and kind of something I stick to. Anyway, what do y'all make of this Diggs trade? I'm interested. Deej, we know how you feel. So for those of you who don't know, we have a group chat with most of our friends for the Corner Booth crew. I gotta add Subbi to that chat, man, because he's gonna laugh. But so I think Matt broke the news, or Jeffrey broke the news, or one of our boys did, and it's just a Diggs to the Texans. And Deej, what was your response? I'm gonna boycott this.
No, just formal protest.
Formal protest.
Crazy.
The worst part is it's because now apparently, according to the 33rd team, I believe that's Ari Mirov's company, it's voided the last 3 years of his deal, so he's a free agent after the season. So the Texans could go on a run and win the fucking chip, and then he could leave and go to another team. I don't understand
his brother in Dallas
contracts anymore. I really do not.
I think this trade had to happen, and I think it was the right move. Did it go to the right team? DJ's stance now.
Right now, so he don't care.
So interesting. So looking back at the Deshaun Watson trade,
Instagram story. That's why I know.
Tying back to the Deshaun Watson trade, this ties in obviously with the Texans, but this ties into Stephon Diggs. So the Browns get a 2024 6th-round pick, which they're going to just draft a nobody, and then they got Deshaun Watson. The Texans have turned those picks into 2022 first-rounder Kenyon Green, Dameon Pierce, Will Anderson, Tank Dell. They've got a 4th-round pick this year from that trade, and they used the picks they got from that trade and got Stephon Diggs. So they turned Deshaun Watson into Kenyon Green, Dameon Pierce, Will Anderson, Tank Dell, and Stephon Diggs, and a future 4th-rounder this year.
And since that trade, CJ Stroud has started more games than Deshaun Watson with playing one full season less.
Yeah, life is rough being a Browns fan.
Yeah.
Well,
granted, they're absolutely
what happens.
Just
the man who saves your franchise, you kick to the curb because your head coach is a dipshit.
There's a lot. I was living there. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes of that one. Baker he had done something. It was time for them both to go. The problem is you replaced them with a flight risk that was missing 2 wings.
But the way they replaced Baker and the way they did Baker, as much as Baker is not perfect, the way they did Baker is the problem.
He had to go then. That was the right move. They just did not bring in the right replacement.
Yeah,
Like,
and they also did it the wrong way.
You also gave up a king's ransom for that flight risk too.
And also pissed off every other GM in football by throwing a fully guaranteed contract at a guy who was literally the Bill Cosby of the NFL, allegedly.
And besides all of the alleged, whatever he committed and everything, but like he didn't play football for like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he looks like shit. And then he gets a whole off season and comes back, still looks like shit. And then he
didn't
gets
look like himself
the rest of the year.
until the game before he got injured.
So study shows he's going to look like shit this year.
Yeah, no, the Deshaun Watson trade is creeping up the top 10 worst. So there's like a top 50 worst NFL trades of all time, and like his is starting to like work its way up. We're getting to the point where like he's starting to sniff like trading Herschel Walker for like the draft pick that took Emmitt Smith and like 4 other Cowboys, and you're starting to work your way up to the point where it's like, okay, you're like sniffing the top 5 here. So
on that Russell Wilson trade real quickly.
Russell Wilson, listen, the Broncos right now, they're sitting hard at a hard 6 right now. But every year that Geno makes the playoffs with the Seahawks, and if Russell wins a starting job in Pittsburgh and leads them to a playoff berth, it's over. Worst trade in NFL history. Because it shows Sean Payton needed Drew Brees to survive.
Oh, we know that. Like that's with Drew Brees, he went 500 3 years in a row, while Drew Brees was throwing for 5,000 yards. Like, that's all you need to know there. That he clearly needed Drew Brees. What's interesting too is Deshaun. We've all said he has not played like Deshaun. He's still somehow like 7-2 in the games that he started, because of how good Cleveland is actually loaded. Imagine if they got 75% of Houston's Deshaun, and he actually played. They'd be absolutely ridiculous. They'd probably been in the Super Bowl last year. But when
now they got Jerry Jeudy for 9 games for the next year.
Exactly. And you know what? That's better than absolutely nothing at this point. So they're absolutely loaded, and yet it's still crazy that trade is still, as Jerry said, creeping up the list, and yet you're still have made the playoffs since then. It's absolutely crazy how loaded they are, but that trade alone is shafting them. At least this year they have Jameis Winston season. That's a very high-quality character QB room.
Just one of those where were you moments when Deshaun Watson got traded. I'll tell you where I was. I was in a hotel room in Savannah, Georgia during St. Patty's Day weekend.
Oh, okay.
My birthday weekend. Best time of year.
Dilly dilly.
It's all right.
Hurtful. Fuck you and your quarterback.
More of a President's Day weekend fan myself.
Literally the worst. It's like the weekend after college football. Like pro football. Everyone hates that weekend.
Not me, dude. I live for it. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm really hoping the NFL adds an extra bye week, because now, like, dude, like having President's Day off after the Super Bowl is just a mint idea. Now I just gotta either my boss has to start instituting us actually being off on Fridays, or on President's Day, or like I gotta find a new job, because I going in after the Super Bowl this year was just, I was like, oh, come on, really, fuck. But that's just my life in a nutshell. But oh, boys, my honest opinion about the Diggs trade is that we knew it was happening. It was inevitable. We've been seeing it for every offseason since 2020. The picture of him sitting there watching the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl, and like all that other crap. Like, Stephon Diggs is a problem I've always been bugged by the fact that every offseason it's always the same shit. It's not like with like everyone like tries to make up, like with receivers, they try to make up a whole narrative about how they're a problem, right? We saw this year AJ Brown was the new victim, right? And I believe the year before wasn't Tyreek, it was Debo, right? Before that, it's just another. Every year, the national media finds a new receiver to vilify. But somehow Stephon Diggs acts like an absolute like lunatic with like the cryptic tweets and the subtweeting his brother and all this other bullshit, right? And finally, he gets traded, and it's barely even news. Like we all talk about because we cover the NFL. All of us are NFL right. All of us are NFL primary guys. Like we all are. Let's not act like we're not. And yet, yeah, Chris, your Nickelodeon news first. We know. Chris was first on the scene with Dan Schneider, but was about to get benched.
Oh no, dude, go to the penalty box. Oh Jesus, dude.
Sorry, it was a low hanging fruit.
Me and Drake Bell, man. Damn.
Jesus Christ. That documentary. I've only seen clips and it's still scarred.
Dude, it's fucking. I don't want to get into it again. It's depressing. It's sad.
Why are we
watching? I don't want to ruin my childhood completely. The whole Diggs thing. It's like the most anticlimactic thing because what has it been? 3 straight off seasons where he said the same thing. Oh, this I'm not happy. This I'm subtweeting that contract. This and now he's actually left. I think everyone's like, "Is this real?" Like it's like the Josh Travolta meme when him holding the coat of Pulp Fiction's like, "What's happening? Are we good? Like what's going on?" Like I'm really confused. Because I actually didn't believe that he left it. I think Matt Texans like, oh, Diggs the Texans. I'm like,
yeah,
huh?
that was crazy.
Well, I mean, I would have thought it would go to one other Texas team, like Dallas. But, of course, God forbid the Cowboys. I mean, God bless the Cowboys just love, like, oh, homegrown talent. It's okay. CD can disappear in the playoffs like he always does. So can Dak and so can the entire defense. So, I mean, it's also going to be interesting to see without Leighton Vander Esch, a.k.a. Thad Castle 2.0, not being on that defense. So,
all right. Stefan's on his way to Dallas. He just has to take a pit stop in Texas first. That's why they voided the 3 years, so he'll sign there in the next offseason.
It ain't going to matter when they're going to have Trey Lance from the fucking ball.
Well,
I was going to say,
Trey Lance, after 7 years of sitting, he's going to be cooking now.
Look at that Case Daniel out there.
Texans probably made the right move here because, like, I guess, like, shaping off the 3 years, like, the guy's like a locker room cancer.
Yeah, it's yeah, they figure, hey, listen, we get one run out of this. Honest to God prediction, I think this is the best AFC conference we've seen since, like, the mid-2010s. I can think of 5 teams that can make a run off the rip.
Jeez.
You have KC, Houston, Baltimore, Cincy, and then there's like a couple of fringe teams like Jacksonville, Vegas, Indy, like a bunch of teams that like could be interesting, but I'm like they're gonna be playoff teams. But like, are they really contenders for a Super Bowl? Like, I love Vegas. I think Vegas is gonna be like insane this year. I'm a big fan.
Minshew at the helm, or with Aiden O'Connell at the helm?
I think they're drafting somebody, man. They ain't going to tell us anybody shit. I think they're drafting.
Oh, so that was what I was going to get at. Because I was going to say small breaking news, just because CT ESPN Network broke the whole Russell Wilson news weeks before it happened, and also broke the Stephon Diggs trade to the Texans weeks before it happened. So now they're saying the Raiders are in talks with the Patriots to move up to the 3rd overall pick so they can draft Jaden Daniels. And CT ESPN Network is always like 2 or 3 weeks in front of everybody, and then nobody gives them credit. So I'm just saying
they miss about 5 shots, and then they hit a one haymaker, and you're like, what?
I think
there's like this
I
is
believe
like
it. I mean, like,
this is.
Oh, go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
I know, good. No, bar.
Okay, how's that? It makes sense considering Antonio Pierce coached Jaden Daniels at Arizona State. He's a big Jaden Daniels guy. The question is he going to be there at 3? I'll be surprised if they trade up before the draft because right now Washington's been rumored to like him a lot. So
yeah,
I hope Washington and the Giants don't get him. I will be pissed.
I'm hoping the Patriots.
It's weird.
Don't.
It's really weird. I don't know what Washington at 2 makes no sense to me. I don't understand rhyme or reason.
It's going to be JJ McCarthy.
I hope so. That'd be hilarious,
dude. If it's JJ McCarthy, this is Zach Wilson in 21 all over again.
I agree. I'm not saying I would do it, but that's what they're
going to do. Crazy throw in his pro day. Everyone's like, "Oh, look at his arms!" I'm like, nobody ever doubted his arm strength. Everyone doubts what's between his ears, bro. Nobody gives a fuck about how far you throw a football.
If I am the Commanders, I honestly don't know what I'd do if I was them, because I like Drake May, but I don't like him there. They need somebody to start in front of Drake first. Like, I think Drake needs to sit for a little bit. He's got to clean up some stuff. He's very reminiscent of Aaron Rodgers coming out of Cal. If you give him a year to sit or two, I think he'll light the world on fire.
I love that mouse, by the way.
But his feet are so out of the place, and coming out of that air raid system, there's so many. It's too erratic.
Also, like,
he needed to sit too.
DJ, I think I said this on you when I filled in for Kelsey when we talked about quarterbacks. The Miami game, where I will shit on our defense all day. They were atrocious at times during the year. Our interior pass rush was able to just get home on them on North Carolina, and May looked flustered. The second we pulled off the dogs, he started slinging to Quez Walker, and it was a problem.
Yeah, that's exactly like
the interior pass rush issue. He sees guys coming at his face. It's not like Hurts, Mahomes, Burrow, Jackson, any of these guys who can roll out and just throw it, and they know what to do. He loses it, and it's scary. Daniels, his biggest knock is his arm strength is a B+ at best, and he's a little reckless when he runs the football.
A little reckless. The way he runs the ball, if he does that at the next level, Micah Parsons is going to clothesline him, and it's going to look like the longest yard when Stone Cold Steve Austin at running back shit himself. So he needs to
shit himself.
He also doesn't throw the middle of the field, which I don't know if that's because he can't or just design. I don't know if that's LSU's offense, but he didn't throw it over the middle of the field at all. It's
Brian Kelly's offense makes no sense.
Which is why I'm wondering if it's Jaden Daniels or is it the offense? That's one thing we won't know.
We'll go back and look at Go back and look at Notre Dame's offense under Brian Kelly. It was running the ball at Josh Adams and having Ian Book chuck it to the outside.
And it makes sense because you also have Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. out there. So it's like, why would I throw it to a tight end over the middle when I have the two top?
Name the last successful LSU tight end. I can't.
Thaddeus Moss.
Actually made it to the league. That was my.
He didn't make it to the league. He just went to Washington, which is a shit show.
Yeah. I mean, actually, like, serviceable, played the league for at least a couple of years. Because, like, no disrespect to Thaddeus Moss, son of the great Randy Moss.
My point still.
I can't name an NFL tight end who's stayed in the league for more than like a couple of years who's an LSU tight end.
That's fine. I'm saying generally didn't throw over the middle of the field, so that's why I'm worried. Is that Jaden Daniels or is that the offense? Which is one thing.
I believe it's the offense.
Which if that's the case, then Daniels should be a home run pick at number 2.
Yeah, Michael Myers out of Notre Dame wasn't a good pick for a good draft pick until Brian Kelly left Notre Dame.
Michael Mayer also cooks too. I think he's gonna have a good breakout year. But
here's the thing: I think Brian Kelly's allergic to tight ends. I think he really is.
He might be. You never know with him. All I know is if Jaden Daniels could throw over the middle of the field and not run face first into clotheslines from 300-pound men and not jump directly into Jordan Davis's arms trying to get a 1-yard gain, I think he has all the tools to be very successful.
I think it's in his best interest to be drafted the Patriots or Raiders, whoever picks at 3.
In that case, especially the Patriots, that they let Jacoby Brissett play the first handful of games, give Jaden Daniels some time to get his feet under him. I don't think he needs it. I think he is ready to go. But if you can prolong those hits just a little bit longer, to give him a little bit more
and
time.
Also teach him that, like even you can even see watching like a guy like Jalen Hurts year 2 to year 4, Lamar. I mean, even Lamar still gets reckless a little bit, but like you see the guys who are mobile quarterbacks from year 2 to year 4, year 1 to year 3, you see the jump of the maturity of how they run, how they accelerate, how they decelerate, how they avoid hits, run out of bounds, slide. You see the willingness to preserve their bodies, and that's the kicker. And I think that's something that Jaden Daniels really needs to understand because he's not built like Hurts. He can't squat 600 pounds, weighs 210 at 6'1". He's not built like Lamar, who's literally just a rubber band with bones.
He's not elusive either. Like, he's straight line fast, but like as far as elusivity, the ability to be agile, he's not really agile at all. Like comparatively, like Caleb Williams when he's scrambling, the dude's it's like a chicken covered in grease. You can't get your hands on him. Jaden Daniels, if you can catch him, you can get your hands on him. Problem is catching him. So
yeah,
I think
the difference between like trying to catch like Mahomes versus catching Daniel Jones.
Exactly. So I will say, whoever the Vikings get, whoever they trade up for or whatever they do, they're going to a very nice situation. If it's Drake May, if it's Jaden Daniels, whoever it is, they're going to a nice situation with that.
I don't know what they're like. You want to talk about like quarterback situations? My kind of sleeper pick for the Vikings is they trade up at like mid tens or like late top 10 and go get like JJ McCarthy at like 10 or 11.
So they already have pick 11, so.
Yeah, like there you go. You get McCarthy at 11, and that's your pick. And now you have McCarthy chucking the rock to Diggs, KJ Osborne, and Jordan Addison.
And TJ Hawkinson.
And TJ Hawkinson. Elite receiving core. Oh, and Aaron Jones out of the backfield.
And you also have Kevin O'Connell, a legit offensive mind at the helm.
I mean, they can't stop shit on defense, but hey, listen, if the final score of the game is 48-45, who cares?
That was the same way 2 years ago when they had Kirk Cousins and they won 11 games. Not saying they will with JJ or whoever it is, but that's kind of the situation they're in. So I think whatever rookie quarterback ends up there is probably going to be in the sweet spot. And weirdly enough, them and the Bears, probably the two quarterback needy teams that are the spots you'd want to go at this point. Because Bears were an inch away from a playoff team last year with Justin Fields throwing for 170 yards a game. You throw in someone who throws for 210, that's potentially a playoff team. Minnesota, we already went over there loaded. Or New England, where you're throwing to Devontae Parker, who is 132nd out of 132nd in separation for 4 years in a row. Like,
I love how he's now our fourth receiver in the Eagles starting roster. I was like, oh, he's our new number 3, and I'm like, he's not. We're drafting somebody in the second round. We know they are.
So exactly. So basically, it wasn't good enough to make the Patriots. So he went to be the Eagles' 4th receiver. That's how
he
bad
went to be our new Orlando Zacchaeus. Congratulations.
That's how bad the Patriots setup is offensively. They got some work to do nonetheless. So whoever goes there, I do feel a little bad for. Same with Washington. That's a tough division, and that offensive line is Swiss cheese. I mean, you got Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson. That's great, but you also have Dan Quinn leading the way. We'll see. We'll see if round 2 is better for him as a head coach, but
I think this year proved that coaching is the most essential part of the NFL right now.
1,000%. If you have a good coach, you have a chance to go to the playoffs, even with Gardner Minshew at quarterback.
And if you have a good coach and good coordinators, you will make a deep run. If you have a good coach and terrible coordinators, you are first round exit, get your head kicked in by Tampa.
You have a good coach and a good coordinators, then you win 2 Super Bowls in a row.
Bingo.
Or you're like the 49ers and you have a good head coach / coordinator and you keep getting there. You just come up a little bit short.
Yeah, well, it's also the fact that the Shanahan curse, I swear.
And when you have 1 Hall of Fame offensive lineman and 4 interchangeable parts, it's like, okay, eventually this is going to catch up to you. Like, you pay everybody else, but your offensive line is Swiss cheese outside of your left tackle.
Yeah. You can put him in motion all you want. It won't stop anybody on a straight up pass rush.
You can have the best play design if you want, but as soon as someone's left unblocked off the backside, it's like, oh, great. There goes Brock Purdy's elbow.
Also, you can't have 2 30-year-olds at cornerback and expect to cover anybody.
Yeah, and then your one good safety tears his ACL, then who else is playing safety? No one even knows who the 2 safeties are otherwise.
Yeah, it's that was a dig at both the Eagles and the 49ers, that one.
Touche, didn't even plan that, but yeah, that double whammy. Speaking of old people that get injured, Matt, how are you feeling about your Jets? We haven't talked about them yet. You feeling good with the new tackles and pick number 10, or are you still not happy with this?
No, I'm happy with. I mean, I think after the Hassan Reddick trade, I give it all like an A, like a solid A plus with the offseason, considering we went into it with like $20 million in cap. But I'm
pick number 10. Where going?
Receiver.
Okay, so you're thinking they go Roma Dunze, something like that.
Yeah, because I mean Brock Bowers is nice. I would love to have Brock Bowers, but I think Tyler Conklin and Jeremy Ruckert both are healthy options that stay on the field. That's just not the position that has the biggest dire need. If and when Mike Williams goes down, you're going to be left with Garrett Wilson, and as long as Alan Lazard's injury cycle is offsetting of Mike Williams. So like you could realistically have, Garrett Wilson, Xavier Gibson, and Jason Brownlee, and only probably myself and the 4 of us know who Jason Brownlee is.
Like the artist formerly known as Corey Davis, how they announced his retirement.
Yeah, and he's not even on the team. He apparently doesn't. He wants to go somewhere down south. He wants to be closer to home, so he's not coming back. But so the offensive line is an issue because there's just injury issues with Tyron Smith. You can go get some depth in free agency, and that would probably be David Bakhtiari, who also is injury prone. So it's all lose-lose. As long as Aaron Rodgers has more than 2 or 3 seconds to just get the ball out, because he's a quick release guy, you need another receiver. We're not going to do this again where it's Garrett Wilson and then it's a fucking pile of shit, and then there's just somebody else there to get the ball from, like Randall Cobb, who didn't catch anything, and then fucking what's his name, Mecole Hardman, that didn't do anything because he thought everything was going to be handed to him. So I'm taking receiver at 10. That's the one position that we have injuries with, that people get injured all the time, and we need depth at that position. You also, it's lose-lose. You got the fucking Tyrod Taylor as your backup quarterback, who also gets hurt every fucking time. But if I'm at 10 and Brian Thomas Jr. or Romeo Odunze are there, I'm taking one of them. I mean, if I move up from Malik Neighbors, I would be the fucking happiest kid in the world, but I'm taking receiver at 10 as long as at least Odunze is there.
I like receiver at 10 too. I'm partial looking at offensive line. You mentioned Tyron Smith is a walking injury at this point. I would not hate if like Talisi Fuaga, or if one of those good tackles slips, because there's 15 good players that can go in the top 10, but only 9 spots before him. So I still wouldn't hate offensive line, because it also helps Brees Hall. You put him inside if Tyron Smith gets hurt, but you're telling me Aaron Rodgers gets Brian Thomas Jr. on the outside? That sounds kind of fun. But I also agree, keep Brock Bowers away from there. Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw to tight ends. That'd be a waste.
No, that's the thing. It's everybody wants Brock Bowers. I'm like, name me the last premier tight end in Aaron Rodgers. Was it? We look going to Donald Driver. Like, I mean,
you had Rob Tonyan one year that scored double digits.
Tonyan.
Yeah.
Never threw to Jimmy. Mercedes Lewis always blocked for him. Never threw to Jimmy Graham. It's just like, what are we going to do with Brock Bowers? He doesn't use tight ends. But my thing is, like, you got the 3 positions they talk about the most for pick 10 is offensive line, wide receiver, and quarterback. And all 3 of those positions, we have injury-prone players at, like, Tyrod Taylor, Michael Williams, Alan Lazard, Tyron Smith. Like, it doesn't really matter what position you go, because it'll fill the void when one of them gets hurt. It's just, which one do you think is the most necessary? And I think at this moment, I might even actually trade back a little bit into the draft with a team that has multiple first-rounders and recoup a second-rounder, because our second-rounder went to Green Bay. And then maybe take best one available, best offensive line or receiver available, and then just take opposite the next round. But long as I like Brock Bowers. As long as they go receiver or offensive line, I'll be okay, because I think those are more areas of need.
I'm just like, y'all got any corners?
I got one for you, Matt. Tell me how you feel about this. If for some reason he slips to 10, how do you feel about them taking Drake May at 10 to be Aaron Rodgers' backup and heir apparent? A guy who I just called it a very Aaron Rodgers-esque. Let him sit for a couple of years, then come in, or maybe a couple plays if it's like last year. Maybe he only has to sit for 70 seconds.
If I've been on record to say I think Drake May is I believe I had him at like the second best quarterback. I think I had him as a number 2. If he slips to 10 and they draft him and Aaron's like, yeah, he's going to sit behind me for 2 years, he'll start at year 3, I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that as well, because you can also trades can be made. We've seen players go for ridiculous types of draft picks, like when the Eagles got DeAndre Swift for a 7th rounder. So, I mean, it's not impossible for a decent named receiver to get moved for a day 2 pick. But if Drake May slipped to 10 and they took him, I wouldn't be upset at all.
That'd be the best thing that'd make Drake May on a Hall of Fame trajectory. I think that with all the talent he has, getting to sit behind Aaron Rodgers for 2 years, that clean up his issues.
We got breaking news, kids. Haley Van Lith. Oh, there it is. Haley Van Lith has entered the transfer portal.
Shouldn't have went to LSU in the first place. Worst move of her career.
I mean, Kim Mulkey is just an awful head coach. So I mean,
yeah, she basically is like, hey,
you have 4 D1 players and you still lose to. Listen, Caitlin Clark was acting like on her Kobe Bryant shit last week. So, I mean,
she's the closest thing to Steph Curry, not named Steph Curry.
I mean, good for Haley for getting away from fucking – the hell is your program's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, out of there.
How do y'all feel about this whole thing about I guess we'll end on the show on this one. Obviously, Monday night we had Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese, the rematch, right? And, LSU been running their mouth, all controversy all year. Angel Reese is the villain, all that other crap. And I said on the show on Thursday, or Monday, I believe Monday, Kim Mulkey and Angel Reese annoy me for two very different reasons. Angel Reese annoys me because she tries to act like the villain, but she will play victim when she loses. And she did that on Monday. I think she's a very talented basketball player. I think she's incredible at the game she plays. And I wish her the best of luck in the NBA. I really do. Or WNBA. I really do. My biggest problem with her is what she did. What she did exactly what I thought she was going to do when she lost Caitlin Clark. Now, Caitlin Clark ain't perfect either because, she's had her issues with saying she's the media, whatever. I hate Kim Mulkey. She just everything about her annoys the shit out of me. I have really no issue with Haley Van Lith. I think she's, eh. And women's basketball to me is like kind of like an eighth sport I'll watch. But like Caitlin Clark makes it entertaining. Angel Reese makes it entertaining. So to me, Paige Becker's, Haley Van Lith, they make it entertaining. Having superstars in the game of basketball, college basketball, at least in women's, makes it awesome, right? So I will watch the women's Final Four because Caitlin Clark can shoot the fucking lights out. That girl, the second you pass the logo, she's on. I was like, oh, it's this girl Sabrina. It's like, no. That Caitlin girl behind her, she's a bucket from 30. It's the fact that Ice Cube offered a three mil to play for the Big Three. I'd watch to see that, man. Have her either drop it off in the post to Lamar Odom or stack Jack or fucking Jack one from three. I'm about it. I will watch that shit because here's the thing. Some of these female hoopers can go for it. But Caitlin Clark's game translates either way you play the ball. So does Sabrina Ionescu's. But like Angel Reese's game doesn't translate. You try to do that bullshit against fucking Cat or Rudy Gobert, that should get swatted back to the Bayou. So my biggest problem with LSU kind of came to fruition a little bit because they lost, and it was all about, it's hard being. I'm like, I don't care. You lost. It's all good. Get them next year. Go to the draft. Whatever. I don't care. But that was my honest opinion about it. It's cool. It's kind of funny seeing like LSU blasting like fucking crazy ass rap music and shit, like getting ready for the game, pregame, and you see like Iowa doing like some High School Musical bullshit. I'm just like, yo, this is a TikTok meme waiting to happen. Like this is great, but but this also shows like basketball. If you have that one elite player, that one of one person, you can win a ball game. And clearly, right here we saw it. Like the gap between Caitlin Clark and anyone else on that field, on that court, is miles away. So, congrats, Caitlin. You are now in the Final Four. I actually might watch some women's college basketball besides obviously LSU and Iowa. What y'all thought about this?
I think I actually think Iowa's going to take down UConn. The only reason why I think that is because there's a story coming out that says Caitlin Clark and her family all eat, breathed, and sleep UConn, and they wanted to go to UConn. And Gino Auriemma didn't look their way, didn't talk to the family, didn't talk to Caitlin Clark, so she went to Iowa. So to me, this is just a fairy tale story leading up to her finally taking down UConn. Like, you should have called me. You should have recruited me. So they're going to beat UConn and go to the fucking finals. So that is my sole reasoning as to why I think Iowa is going to take down UConn.
Similar vein, the only thing that changes is depending on how healthy Paige Buchers is too, because she was also that girl before the knee injuries kicked in. So I'm curious to see how she's able to play coming off of those knee injuries the last couple of years, because previously she'd be able to match Caitlin. Now we'll have to wait and see if it's still possible after that. So I'm very curious to see that matchup, but I'd probably still lean towards Iowa in the same vein.
Weird story I just got from A2D Radio, shot out of Philadelphia. There is word going around the organization, so everyone wonders why the Eagles chose Josh Sweat over Hassan Reddick. There was word going around the organization. They were worried Hassan Reddick was chasing sacks over, making the right play, doing this, doing that. And there was word around the locker room that he had issues with, like, I guess he was like sack chasing, where he would like to get a bigger contract, he'd rack up 10, 15, whatever it was. And Chris, this is why I brought up in our group chat why I prefer Josh Sweat over Hassan Reddick. Josh will rack up 10 sacks a year because he's just a good pass rusher, but my man will rack up 28 tackles for a loss. He'll push a running back so Dean or now Devin White or whoever the hell's playing linebacker for us can make a tackle. And so I get the whole thing right now. It's kind of crazy. I'm like reading this whole thing with that. Like there was like that word, people in the organization feared that like Hassan Reddick was just a sack chaser. He was just out here trying to rack quarterback sacks, taking running plays. There's a lot of weird stuff. And then again, this is typical Philadelphia media after a player leaves. But I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say this feels like I think this is stupid.
No, but go watch Reddick's tape.
I'll be watching it this year, and I'll hope he chases all the sacks.
Yeah, it's okay when he doesn't stop outside bounce run against the Dolphins when Moser busts one for 80.
That's okay. I've seen my defensive line. I'm pretty happy.
They'll basically have Bryce Hall, Quinn Williams, and a bunch of scrubs, so I understand.
I'm rooting for Reddick.
I am too, man, but like it's interesting because honestly on tape, I always felt like Reddick kind of struggled against the run, and where like Josh Sweat and Graham and everyone else were like a little bit, even Nolan Smith were kind of on their shit, and Reddick always kind of struggled. So it's interesting to see that this is becoming a story now. But Deej, any final thoughts before we're out of here?
Not a whole lot there. Should be a fun off season. Looking forward to the draft coming up as well. So I think that'll be a lot of fun for everyone.
And whatever amazing show hosted by two handsome gentlemen is hosting that thing, I am looking forward to contributing as much as possible if they'll have me. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to our sponsors today, camps.com, promo code BELLYUP 20 for 20% off for your checkout purchase. I actually just re-upped to their 50 milligram CBD pouch is amazing and is also very strong, so be careful. Shout out to our sponsors. Obviously, SeatGeek was the official sponsor of hashtag, the final edition of hashtag Subi Knows, March Madness for Dummies. Promo code Black Sports for $20 off your initial purchase. And of course, our friends over at Mahler Bros. Shout out to our boy Josh Mahler. Congratulations, buddy, for the new gig. 15% off your purchase at checkout. Promo code Belly Up. And of course, Righteous Felon promo code. Did I get the right one? Nope, wrong one. Chris's penalty box. There it is. Presented by Righteous Felon. Promo code Belly Up Sports for 15% off at purchase. Congratulations to obviously Righteous Felon, one of our newest sponsors here. And obviously, appreciate you. Deej, the original four are kind of finishing off strong here. Where can we find your amazing content?
Go and check us out at High Low Sports on everything, YouTube, at Twitter, X, everything in between. Go check out Mock Draft Mondays, Tier Tuesdays, and our live shows on Wednesdays. Don't want to miss that. Everything you need leading up to the NFL Draft and everything in the world of sports.
Nice. Excellent. And you can find me, Matt, Chris, and the whole Corn Booth team, Everything Corn Booth Pod. We do a live Monday show at 7 o'clock on our YouTube and our Instagram and our Twitter. And we do obviously our Thursday show here on Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, as well as the Corn Booth Twitter, Belly Up's Facebook, and Corn Booth's Instagram. We are also going to start next week doing reruns. So this show will re-air on Saturday, and we will also have shows. Our Monday show re-air on Wednesday. So if you missed our show and you want to talk more sports, you want to hear me and the goons acting like animals, you get a second chance. It'll be live on our Corner Booth page the following 2 days later. I believe we want to give a week between. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, or day between, this has been the Corner Booth pregame. We will see you guys on Monday for the Corner Booth podcast, episode 285, and next Thursday for the Corner Booth pregame. We hope you have a great weekend. Obviously, do not drink and drive. Drink responsibly. Shout out to our sponsors. See you on Monday. Peace.